Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk, where we cut the small talk and have conversations of substance. I'm your host, Evergreen, and today our special guest is the one and only Showtime, and our topic of today is modesty. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Hey, Showtime.
What is happening? Hello, good people. Hello, Evergreen. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm very glad to be here. Very
I'm very
appreciative of the
glad.
time we're spending here.
I'm very glad that you were here. Thank you for being a part. And so our topic today is modesty. So I guess my first question for you would be, what is modesty? Like, what does modesty mean to you?
To me, I feel like that's just downplaying yourself. And I feel like modesty is just like, excuse me. I feel like modesty is just like placed on us, upon other people because, like, I don't know, out of like envy or jealousy or just like our light is just too bright for them. So they try to be like, humble yourself. But when they say that, that's basically them placing their insecurities on you.
So, so when you say humble yourself as well, so do you feel like there's a difference between being modest and being humble, or do you feel like they're kind of one and the same?
Nah, I feel like there's a difference. There is a difference between the two. I feel like the biggest difference is when you're practicing being humble, practicing humility. That comes from like the knowledge of self and knowing the power within. But when you're being modest, that's out of courtesy for someone else, or that's for someone else's gain. It's like I don't want to put myself out there too much. I'll just downplay myself so that you can go ahead and prosper.
And so like, have you ever heard of false modesty?
No, break that down for me.
Okay, so false modesty would be kind of like pretending to have a low opinion of yourself or any of your like capabilities so that other people can praise you. Do you feel like you've had any experience with that, like not even personally but just like witnessing it?
Sheesh. I feel like I feel like I've seen something like that before, where, like I said before, you try to downplay yourself so that you can receive that acknowledgement, so that somebody can be like, "Nah, you good, you got it." You're like, "Oh, for real? All right, I guess." I feel like with me, just like learning more about myself and knowing like what it is I'm trying to do out here, or what it is I'm actually doing already, and where I'm trying to go. I feel like-minded individuals find me, and so when we're able to, discuss our own goals, that for me shows me some like humility being practiced, so I can identify it like that. But sometimes when you meet different people, you gotta just like get to know them first. That's how I would go about differentiating between the two when I'm meeting like new people.
And when you feel like modesty is kind of placed on us, do you feel how do you navigate that? Like how do you ensure that you still are like being yourself?
You got to be around the like-minded individuals. You got to be around people that uplift you and not people that want to silence you.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. And that also just goes into like just like simply knowing that other people's success doesn't take away from yours.
Facts. Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed.
And so like, okay, do you think like being too modest leads to any like missed opportunities?
Yeah, missed opportunities. But like the biggest opportunity you miss out on is just like not really knowing self, and not really knowing or forgetting self and your own worth and your own power as well. If you like too quiet, too silent for too long.
And how do you feel like you come to know self?
There's a song, there's a good song. I feel like nowadays I'm like, well, I mean, I've always been like into music, but like, I feel like a lot of our answers, some people like put it in the lyrics, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that joint. Yeah. There's this song by Pharrell Williams. It's called Lost Queen. And he says, you got to go inward to experience the outer space that was built for you.
Ooh, okay.
I'm telling you, that song is nice. But that so you got to spend a lot of time with self and get to know yourself, if not for the first time, but remember who you are and the power you have within.
So like, have you ever felt like there has been any time where you like you know self, but maybe you stray away from a little bit and you like have gotten kind of off track?
I feel like I'm coming back to self at this point.
Okay, and like what was it that made you kind of stray away? If you would care to share.
Where I'm cool with sharing because I really don't know.
Okay, really?
It's really not like cut and clear. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
just sometimes you look up and it's like, okay, I'm doing this, but I used to do that, and that what I used to do seems more like me. You know what I mean? It's like you look up and you're not doing what you used to do. I mean, maybe that's growth, but also you could like stray away from your own path. I feel like um some elements, but it's very thin. It's a very thin line. Like some things can be left in the past, but some things you got to go back to. Maybe that's like some like routine practices you were doing, some like self-care maybe, or just like habits, like let's say working out. You know what I mean? Some things like that can just like carry over into where you are now, this new chapter. But there are some bad habits in there. You just gotta like you gotta know yourself. You gotta know yourself. Nobody knows you better than you.
Facts. Facts. I always say like man is their own best authority, like meaning, when it comes to just life and experiences, like you can take all people's opinions into consideration, but at the end of the day, like you really know what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you kind of had the question of like, is it a thing to be too modest? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, like I said, sometimes modesty is placed upon us, and sometimes it just resonates and it just sits with us for so long, where it's like you lose your way, or you lose your knowledge itself, like to you. You know what I mean? You don't even recognize yourself anymore. So I feel like you can kind of, I don't want to say like silence yourself, hide yourself for so long, where it's like you don't know your own way, your own light, your own self. Is that a thing?
I definitely feel like it's a thing, and I feel like in a way, like how you say people place it upon us, I feel like in another light, like we place that upon ourselves as well. We do that to ourselves more often than we realize. Like we just kind of downplay ourselves, but I feel like that also what also goes into play with that is like how kind of how you were brought up. I feel like if you were someone as a child who was getting praised for the things that you did versus being a child who was maybe scolded for the things that you like or maybe ignored when you brought up certain talents and gifts and stuff, like that could trickle into like your adult life, and it could kind of make you feel like, maybe I just need to be small, like maybe I just need to not really show my talents off or not really be in the spotlight and just keep myself hidden. Cause I know I kind of had that same thought like a couple years ago where it's cause like even when I asked you about like missed opportunities, I feel like me being someone who like still to this day isn't really the biggest fan of social media and being like seen and perceived and stuff, like me wanting to keep myself hidden away and stuff, I kind of missed out on a lot of opportunities that would have caused me to be in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Upbringing definitely plays like a huge factor in like how we go about shining our light. I feel like some things carry over. Like I said earlier, some things carry over and some things gotta kind of just get like left behind.
Yeah. And so like have you always been someone who, you know, like wasn't afraid of the spotlight, or were you somebody who was once like kind of keeping yourself hidden?
It's very it's very tricky with me because like I feel like when I was younger I wasn't always afraid of it. I kind of just found my way into it, and then now that I'm like older, I feel like now I'm kind of like, I don't want to say not afraid of it or afraid, but I'm kind of like trying to stay straight away from it just so I can push someone else there, or someone else with like a story that should be said, that should be heard. You know what I mean? I'm not saying mine shouldn't, or like try to downplay my own, but I just feel like the best way for me to get my own story heard is just by offering my own gifts and talents to others and helping them get there.
Are you expecting when you bring other people up? Are you expecting like not necessarily a shout out, but like credit?
No, no,
No.
no, not at all.
Okay. So I feel like in a way, like that's kind of you being a little too modest.
In a way, it could be.
In a way, yeah. I don't know. Like I remember like at the end of last year, one of my friends, I was just having a conversation with them, and we were just talking about like kind of like having this conversation, and like they were just like pretty much telling me like, I know we might think it is, but right now is not the time to be humble, or in this case modest. Like
I
I
heard that
think
too.
you said what?
I've been told that as well.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I think that like everybody is kind of, I always feel like collective consciousness is kind of amped at certain times. But like, I feel like a lot of us are all getting the same messages, and a lot of us should all really listen, because a lot of us, like you, like me, like many others, have just been really humble for too long. And maybe it's just your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like it's your turn to receive the praise, but not necessarily in a way where you're trying to seem cocky or whatever, but it's just like rightful praise.
Right, because it's due. You got to give credit when it's due.
Right.
Lord, I got to make some changes.
Yeah, like I mean changes are good though. And I think like for me, like even just like the whole spotlight thing, I think the biggest thing for me is just, I guess, being perceived even more, Like I think
Mhm.
that's what really keeps me away from the spotlight. But I think like the things that we do and like where we want to go in life, it's kind of inevitable for you to be in the spotlight per se, or to be perceived. Like if you want to really, whatever your goals and your dreams are, if you want to really reach people, you're going to have to eventually step into that, lean into that, and own it.
Oh man, no, it's so crazy because it's like you said, it's like you having this conversation in the past. I remember on Halloween last year, I was at this party and I went in there with something I made, and and I was being modest. Somebody walked up to me, asked me if I made it, and I was like, I tried to like downplay it, and they were like, "Listen, if you gonna do this, you need to do it and stand on it." I was like, "Oh snap, you're right, but okay, maybe in due time, not right now."
Yeah, I think like that's really just the message. It's just like now is not the time to be scared. Now is not the time to be unsure of yourself. Now is the time to just believe in yourself fully and just, you know,
Stand on it and stand on it.
and stand on it. Say it with your chest.
I feel like within this new year, I feel like I'm ready to go about it that way. I just put out my own portfolio for like all the things I made since I started making clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and like that for me felt good. Like so when I sent it out to like other people for them to like look at it, and I was getting like feedback for it, I was even more so appreciative and grateful for that. And I was that way at that moment. I was able to practice humility because it's like I know I went crazy on this, but like the fact that you see it, you know what I mean? We're on the same page and I can receive that with no problem. So I
Yeah.
want to keep that same energy going for the rest of the year, honestly.
Yeah. And what are like some opportunities that you're looking to attract this year?
What a great question. I honestly want this portfolio as I continue to like work on it. It's up now, so you can just like get a gist of the vision I have. I want to expand upon that and kind of So like with the portfolio, I don't want to go too in detail on it on like the ideas I have for this one, but I kind of want to expand upon it for like the individual pieces. So I want to get those seen in more places, if not like some shows or some things that I curate myself for others to see. So basically, it's just time for me to like get my own self out there, myself and my creation. So I have to create my own opportunities. So I really don't know what it is I'm looking for. I guess that's my answer. I don't know what it is I'm looking for from that's already existing. I gotta create it myself.
Okay, okay, that's understandable. I was going to say like fashion shows. I feel like I would love to see your things in fashion shows because, like, with like me doing the crochet thing, and that's just something that I didn't really expect to be
Mhm.
doing. But like when people were asking me, like, "Hey, would you like to have your pieces in a fashion show?" I'm like, "Oh, like that's really cool, actually." So like I feel like to have your pieces in a fashion show, like even just like the models who model your things, like that would be a really cool experience.
It would. That's exactly what it would be. An experience. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that would be a really cool experience because you make some fire. I'm not even trying to like, you already know. You already know how I feel. I will hype all your shit up to the end days because I really fuck with what you be doing. Like you make some fire ass pieces, like, and it just be like off the top. Like you just be going crazy with it.
I got
Like
to.
even what you sent me, like when you were like, "This is for you," I'm over here like, "Oh my god, this man always doing some sneaky cool stuff, bro." Like
And you got your hands on like a whole fit. Basically, you have a whole fit now.
I really do.
That's so hard. We
That
gotta
is
do a
so.
shoot for it. Oh my
We
goodness.
definitely have to do a shoot for it for sure. And I still have things to give you as well.
Come on now. And I'm always appreciative of that. I always wear it and wear it well. I gotta put it together. Oh, I got a jacket. I finally made a jacket that matches the pants. So I could do like the pants you gave me that I gotta wear those at the right moment because that pocket situation is different.
And that's what I was like. That is his challenge because I know he loves pockets. So I'm gonna make something for him that has no pockets and see what he does with it.
And now it is that time. It is time. Whenever we can get back together and I can bring you your pieces, we can do a quick shoot for all of our fits.
For sure. I was definitely thinking that like I definitely have to wear these at the right moment. Like these are not I
Mhm.
mean shit, this is some shit you can wear casually, but like, this is like these are statement pieces. And then I was just thinking like shit, maybe one day I'm gonna just fuck around and wear it to the grocery store because why not? You know what I'm saying? Like every
Exactly.
day, you should just be dressing. Like, I remember this one time, like this was like maybe 2 years ago.
Hmm.
um I seen this one lady out, like she was just out in the store. I was in Trader Joe's and I was like shopping and stuff, and she was shopping, and I was like, "Oh, like you look nice. Where are you going?" She was like, "Girl, I'm going home." And she was like, I just put this on to come shopping because like every day, like you really need to start dressing. Like every day could be your last. Like just make a statement for no reason, put it on for no reason. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Like
I like the way she thinks.
yeah, and I feel like low key, like that's not even low key, like high key, like that's what I think about when I'm like when I see all of your work, like
Mhm.
these are just statements, and you can wear it. You can wear it to an event, an occasion, but like also you can wear it casually, and like
Exactly. That's
yeah,
that's my vision. That is my vision for like everything I'm making. I'm really trying to just like I do a lot of like upcycling and sustainable work, and I want to like be able to wear that in any place. You know what I mean? Whether I'm dressing up for like um, a more upscale event or we just going up the street, going to the homie's house.
right,
We just ready for whatever.
right. How often do you like visit New York?
Oh, if I had to, let me see, put it on an average, I'd say, well, I haven't been since Halloween last year because I locked in on the portfolio. I had some great conversations at Halloween. I got to go back to Halloween because I was in New York for Halloween. And I stayed a couple days after that. But when I went to the same party in the same fit, someone asked me, um, they saw my fit, they asked me if I made it. I said, yeah. Then he paused and he said, yo, where were you for fashion week? Like, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about coming. He's like, we needed this individuality there. But on average, I say I'm up there, if not every 2 weeks, every other month.
Okay, yeah, because like I I went out like I'm not out there often,
Mm.
but I had went out there for a friend's birthday, and like we went to Times Square and everything, and like I like to wear a lot of the good thing about us being able to make clothes is like you don't really need to market it, because if you put it on, that is the you're like a walking billboard for
That's your
your
market plan right there.
exactly. And so like when I went up there and we were like we were in Times Square just walking around going to different places, everybody literally was like, "Oh my god, I love your fit. I love your fit. I love your pants. I love your pants. Oh my god, I love your pants." And like then when they found out that I made them, they were like, "Oh my god, shut up. Like you made, like you know what I'm saying?" So like that's why I was just going to ask you, like, do you walk around Times Square with your creations, because I feel like you will get so many compliments.
I feel like I don't
You
because
should go. Okay, this year, bro, at least once, just go to Times Square and just wear any of your creations. Like I promise you, you're gonna have so many compliments, because when I tell you, so many people were complimenting me on my fit, and then when like they were just like, yo, like even like people like across the street was just giving me a thumbs up and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. Like it just makes you feel really good. Like, dang, I made this, and like maybe I was being a little humble about it, but people are really hyping me up, And so
so I
I
gotta
feel like you
stand
should
on
do
it.
that. You should do that one day, like, or even if we go together.
That
Like,
would be listen, it's happening now. You already spoke it into existence.
yes, even if we go together and just take a walk around Times Square, I promise you, like, people are going to notice for
This
sure.
is gonna be a moment. This is our marketing.
This is our marketing. For sure. But yeah, Fashion Week will also like really be cool as well. Like you be like going to Fashion Week, but like also even just speaking shit into existence, like you landing some sort of type of deal for Fashion Week. That would be cool as well.
That would be cool. I know of some. Well, I know a designer in Richmond that is actually going to be in a show this upcoming Fashion Week next month, and
Okay.
that's so cool to see. Like, I met them, I think, at a shoot out here in Maryland, and then to see them like grow since then and get that kind of acknowledgement and that opportunity to be on that platform, that is amazing to witness
Yep.
because it's like now I see an example, you know what I mean, of what could happen. You
Right. And
know,
that's why I always feel like there's another, there's a lot of like cliches and phrases and quotes like you said, or like songs that could really sum up what we say, but I feel like those are those things for a reason. But like there's like a quote or whatever, when it's like when you have people around you who are like starting to hit success, um like just it being around you means that like yours is closer than you think.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Who said that?
Bro, I have to find. It was some lady, like, and I don't even know if she heard it somewhere, but like she was speaking on something and she brought that up, and I was like, like that kind of really does make sense, because like signs and synchronicities are a thing, and I do feel like when you have people around you who are hitting success or whatever that may look like for them, like that's why it's so important to clap for other people. Like I was saying, like other people's success don't take away from yours, because if you are somebody who is being a little hater or whatever, like like that energy, it kind of like throws things off in the universe. And so I just feel like, just be happy for everybody. Everybody's time is coming. Not everybody's time is at the same time. But, just
And
keep
what's meant for
going.
you will be.
Right, exactly. Like what is for you will never miss you. And so like I always like to ask every creative, every artist this question, like what does success for you personally?
This is a great question. I like that it's like ongoing and you ask everyone because I know you get a lot of different answers.
Society has a way of emphasizing that success can be one specific, like it can look one specific way. So that's why I always like to ask
Absolutely.
people, like what does it mean to you personally?
To me personally, success is equal to freedom, whether that
Okay.
is creative freedom or just freedom to just be in this present moment, just exist in it and be grateful for all of it. Success is freedom to assist anyone with anything, no matter where they are, like on their journey. And it like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't have an effect on you, but it's like you're just doing it just to do because you
Right.
have the luxury to be free, you know? So that's what I'm striving for. Man. Now I'm realizing now that timing is just like, it's always, you have to make the most of your time. Let me ask you that same question um that you ask everyone else. Let me return the favor and ask, what is success for you?
Like you said, just having freedom. I think success, like having that freedom to just do what I would like to do, whether it be anything, um, to me will also be me being able to help put other people on. And so if I'm able to have my free time and my freedom to do whatever I want, but also help people achieve the same freedom and time to do what they want, that to me would make me feel like I'm successful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I like that. That's what I always say that too. If I reach just one person with the vision that I'm communicating, then I did my job well. I'm on the same page as you, Evergreen.
Come on now. Now we all in this together. No High School Musical.
Absolutely. Community High School Music. What a classic.
No High School Musical. We are all in this together. But is there any like anything that involves your craft that you feel like you want to get, like that you feel like you could be better at?
I think I could be better at basically everything I'm doing because I think what it comes down to is how clear and effectively I can communicate the vision I have and the world I've created for self. How can I express that so that you can get it like right away, or you can take something away from it now when you watch it for the first time, and then later when you revisit it. I just want to communicate very clearly because I know I struggle with that sometimes because I feel like I've been quiet for so long. So now that I actually have to put myself out there intentionally, I have to make sure I'm speaking very clearly.
I feel that. I feel like as creatives, we also, because I feel like I do the same thing. It's like as a creative, as someone who has so many ideas going in their mind, it's kind of hard to make sure that we get whatever we want to get out clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like something that I've kind of and I always tell people this, like, I'm not too deep into astrology and I don't be expecting people to get into that, but like, have you ever heard of human design?
I just heard this for the first time the other day.
Okay, and so like I only bring it up because like prior to like discovering what my human design was, I'm somebody who wears many hats. Like I don't just do one thing, I do a lot of things. And so at first I
Mm-hmm.
used to have like this inner battle with myself about how, because you know how like the cliche, the quotes, more quotes that go like the jack of all trades is a master of none or something like that.
I've heard that.
um
I've heard it.
and but there's actually more to that quote. I forgot the rest of it, but there's actually more to that quote. But and so like people are kind of like not forcing you, but kind of like always telling people to niche down, niche down, niche down. You got to do one thing. You got to do one thing. Like when I discovered my human design chart about like maybe 3 or 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm something called a manifesting generator, and like the top quality of a manifesting generator is like you're not supposed to be doing just one thing. Like you work very well doing multiple things. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always felt like that. Like I always felt like, dang, I really don't feel like I should be doing like one specific thing for the rest of my life. I feel like I am a serial creative and I have so many different ideas that I want to bring to life. And so it just kind of finalized a lot of things for me and like confirmed and reaffirmed a lot of things for me. And that's why I kind of like want to ask you, like, whenever you do decide to tap into that, like, it would be interesting to see what your human design is, because I feel um, like I was saying, like, as a creative beings, like, we have a lot of ideas, and something that I struggle with was how to present them clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to send it over. If I'm not mistaken, I saved it. I didn't like go too deep into each one of the into the points, into the different like, the different points of my design, but if I'm not mistaken, the very first one was it had experimenter in it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think there's like one above that because there's like a manifester, there's a manifester, a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, and I think one more. So I think there's like five, and that's
Hmm.
like pretty much like your overhead. So yeah, it will be interesting to see which one you are.
I'm gonna send it over because I definitely do the same thing, and I definitely feel like um there you have to like express all those different ideas because they're in you for a reason. It's a part of
Exactly.
you to communicate what's within, and there's definitely a way to connect all the ideas. Like that's also what I'm working on, effectively communicating the ideas and just showing how everything is connected within one.
And even just like I think like even just collabing with other people, like one thing I realized like last year is like we might have an idea in our head and maybe we're thinking, okay, how am I about to bring this idea to life by myself? But when you collab with people, like I noticed that things kind of get a lot easier. Like it can still be your idea, but just like with the help of just other people as well. But like that's one thing that I really come to realize last year is like you really don't have to do a lot of this stuff on your own either.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, like collabing with people and like especially like-minded people and just other creatives, like that is like one thing last year that I really came to enjoy is like, dang, I'm around so many creatives and so many people with great minds, and it just inspires me even more to be around them.
That community, we all in this together. No High School Musical.
For sure. And
So we're gonna
so
collaborate on this venture to Times Square. I'm
I'm
glad.
excited. I'm just excited because I already know like if people were reacting to my fits the way they were, like I already know people are gonna receive you very well.
I'm ready for it. Let's hug it out. Like we're here. We're really here. We're really in this.
For real.
I remember. I'm telling you, I can give you stories for days just from my time in New York. But I remember one time I went to this art show and I just made. Well, I didn't just make it, but I wore my I made this Grinch suit, this big green furry like jumpsuit, and I wore it out there. And it was mad hot in the in the art space. There was not a fan in sight. I'm over here thinking, okay, it's January in New York. It's gonna be mad cold, so let me come correct. But the activity is indoors and there's so many heads. The idea was good, but it's just the timing. It wasn't precise. But someone came up to me and they said, no, I came up to someone and I complimented them on their fit, and I was liking the way that they were just going around and spreading forth good energy with everyone they encountered. And I told them, I can't wait for me to like step out like fully in myself, in my own being, and like know it and be able to share it out. And they looked at me in this big green suit, this hot room. They're like, "You already there, my man. Like, what are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, let me take that back with me and just give back to self, like we said, and just like, am I really like, is this really who I am? You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah. You know how like we have like you were saying like you have this idea, like this vision in your head, like maybe sometimes I be feeling like we have this certain idea and we be really living most of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things
mm-hmm.
that we said years ago has either happened or we're living that. And we don't like for whatever reason when it's us, we don't like to like acknowledge that. But like just like how that conversation went is like somebody literally just had to check you and say, bro, like look at right now. Like you really are living that right now. You know what I'm saying? And I
Absolutely.
don't really know what that is about us, but it's like Like you're really living either part of your dream, your full dream, whatever. Like you're really even just bringing a lot of, like, even the fact that you had that outfit idea in your mind and you physically brought it to life. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think that we should like take a step back and actually like reflect. I feel like we don't really do that often, you know, like just reflecting on just life and where we were and where we are. Because when we do that, we really do see like, dang, a lot of this stuff that I'm doing right now, I was talking about this years ago, and like I did it or I'm currently doing it.
I think that's life. Life forces us to keep moving, and we
Yeah.
have to like intentionally put ourselves on pause for a moment to really reflect on either reflect on a moment that's past or just exist in the
Yeah.
current moment and
Just be
like
present.
and just be grateful for it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And that's why I always like stress the importance of just like slowing down. Or just like even just like being more present. Like anytime someone asks me like if I feel like there's anything that I could do better, I feel like even though I feel like I'm pretty present in most moments, I feel like I could be more present. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I could appreciate like more of the present even more, however that may look.
It's just being. It's just being there. You know what I mean?
Wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly without even like thinking about what happened last week, what's about to happen, what you have to work on as soon as you leave. Enjoy the moment that is because it won't always be there.
Facts. I think that's also like another wow, you know, this year is not the year to be humble or modest. Like that's another one, is like make sure you take time to enjoy the moments. And I know that's like a cliche, but it's like it's not
It's
practice.
real. It's
It's
real.
not practice enough. Like it's really
Mm-hmm.
not. Like we can say it all we want, but like do we practice it?
No.
You feel me? Like so
I'm right there with you.
yeah. And so if there is nothing else that you would like to add to our conversation, I do have some closing cues for you.
All right.
Okay, so my first closing cue would be, what inspires you the most?
Coming back to self. Coming back to self. I don't know why I came out like that. But yeah, coming back to self is really where the inspiration comes from because there are some things that carry over from childhood that when you revisit, it's like you discover so much more, you know?
Absolutely. I think it's so interesting how like a lot of things that we do in our adult life is just stuff that we really used to just freely do when we were a child that we just somehow strayed away from.
And that's so crazy. It's like, wow, I really used to do this and now I still do
Bro, and you want to know something that's so funny to me
it.
about like even just like my life is like I really used to be the this is so funny to say, but
Tell me, please
I
tell
really
me.
used to be the girl like that used to play in dirt, bro. Like, and motherfuckers used to be like, "You're gonna get ringworm, you're gonna get ringworm," and like now I'm a whole farmer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And you do this.
you feel me? Like, I really do this. I can really grow anything that I want, and I'm just like, I know I wasn't just playing in dirt for no reason, you know?
Right? It was just the foundation, literally building your foundation.
Exactly.
If
And so my next question is, how do you recharge?
I say coming back to self one more time, I
No, I
just,
mean, look. If that's your answer, it's facts. Like,
it is so facts. What do I do? Like, I can find so many different things to do at home, whether it's um, like queuing up a CD, um, turning on the DVD player. There's still a DVD player in the crib.
okay,
Uh, whether it's looking at the pile of fabric that has yet to get cut, figure out what can be made next. There's just so much within I can do. So that's how I recharge, just going through the filing system of the mind and pulling out the next thing that we have to focus on at the time.
okay. And what's something you're currently unlearning?
Currently unlearning, I really want to just say modesty.
Okay.
Currently unlearning it and um, practicing speaking up.
Yeah. And being fully in your power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that. And what's something you think is underrated?
Community.
Okay. Yes, I do agree with that.
Community. There's
For
so much
sure.
greatness you're you're in without even realizing it. Like you could be 30 minutes from someone that could help you get to where you're going, or it could be an hour drive. But either way, you're in close proximity of people that can help you and people that you can help. You're not in this alone.
Right. And even better was just like that's like a one good thing about social media is like you even if you are an hour or two from them, you can easily tap in with them. You know what I'm saying? Technology.
Easily. We're never too far away from our people. And they
Fact.
find us. The like
And I
minded
was just
people
about to say
find us.
that like we always gravitate towards one another as well. So
And it's so cool seeing how like sometimes the like-minded people will do some of the ideas that you may have visited before or that you were planning on going to visit.
right.
And it's just like reiteration that y'all are on the same page.
Exactly. What do you want to leave this world with?
Joy, positivity, vibrancy, and the knowledge of patchwork. Not
Okay.
just the fabric, but maybe the fabric of the human, because we can do any and everything. We don't have to stick to just one thing. So if I like something from over here, I can patch it with an idea that's over here and figure out how they can be connected.
And last but not least, what are you most thankful for?
The Lord. Being here in this moment.
Underrated response.
It wasn't up to me. It wasn't up to me. You know, somebody else had another plan, not only for me, but for other people. So I'm just very grateful to be here in this moment.
Right. Okay, well, let everybody know what you got going on and where they can find you so that they can tap in.
Hey, man, what's going on, people? This is Showtime speaking on Evergreen Space. Thank you for having me, Evergreen. It is much appreciated. People, y'all can find me on Instagram at show.time. Three W's, two E's. I just released my portfolio. Please click the link in the bio. Let me know what you think. It's not finished, but it's a great start to me being outspoken about what it is I do. So let me know and let's build.
Yes, please tap in with Showtime because, man, I'm gonna just let y'all tap the link in the bio. I'm not even gonna say nothing because I don't even need to say nothing. Once y'all tap that link in the bio, you're gonna want to collab, okay? So
And it's up from here. That's
you
all.
feel me? Like that's all it is.
I really thank you.
I appreciate you for being on my show, for coming here, spitting some wisdom, for taking the time. You know,
Absolutely.
yes. And so that concludes our episode for today. As always, everyone, thank you for listening and stay tuned next month for another one.
Another. Eh?